Hey guys, Don here. It's funny when areas get logged off, how different areas regenerate differently. You know, you can go into some areas, a place I like to call Tanglefoot. They did a big clear cut up there, and it took 4 good years before it had really gotten grown up. And it went from being great deer habitat to great moose habitat. And now, 10 years later, it's an impenetrable forest as thick as dog hair. This area that I'm at right now was logged off last year. And you can see this stuff growing behind me. I'm not really sure what that is. I mean, it's a big leaf, and it's everywhere. Like I said, this was logged off just this past winter. And it's really thick and tall. Some of the stuff has grown 6-7 feet tall. You can see the really big leaves on it. I'll give you a close-up here in a little bit, but it's really funny how it takes some areas a long time to regenerate, and some areas, just in the course of a summer, a dry summer at that, just come back really quick. So I'll show you around here in a minute. So here's what I'm talking about right here. I mean, this is probably a 2-acre cut. And it doesn't look like this stuff is very high, but it is 4 to 5 feet tall. And I really have no idea what it is. I mean, it's a very broad leaf. Almost looks like a poplar leaf, but it's really big. See, now that I've walked back into this stuff, you can see, I mean, this one right next to me is as tall as I am. And it's the same here. I mean, all around. It's 4, 5, 6 feet tall, all grown this year, since the spring. Got to do a little research and see if I can figure out what that is. Did you find some fresh deer poo? Is that what you're snacking on? So this will give you a little better perspective. This area right here was clear cut all the way to those back trees and around over this way. This was 8 years ago, I suppose. And about 4 years ago, I had a tree stand right over there in this corner. And this was nothing for 2 years except blackberries and little whippies, but it was really still quite open. I was actually hunting a particular bear up in here. Had to go over 400 pounds. I got a lot of pictures of them in these blackberries. Now, you can see, I mean, this tree right here is 12 feet tall, 15 feet over there. I mean, it's really grown up thick. Impenetrable as far as being able to see something. I'm sure the game still runs through it. But there's none of that broad-leafed stuff that's growing just 500 yards, 500 yards behind me. It's totally regenerated in a different way. And it was basically the same kind of timber that was in here. Well, here's like example number 3. You know, this big piece of property has been logged off. Doing successive cuts, and over the last probably 10 years. And this area right here, I believe this spot was done about 3 years ago. And you can see how it's regenerating, repropagating, whatever. Blackberries, all about 3 feet high. None of that big, broad, leafy thing that was growing in that other area, which was just cut last winter. And, you know, the trees are growing out of the stumps. I think a lot of those must have been left. You know, obviously these trees, you know, have been here. This wasn't a total clear cut. But it just goes to show you, you know, this whole area that I'm showing you is all within a half a mile radius. And how different successive cuts repropagate differently year over year in the same general area. Well, that was a good little scouting foray. I checked out that area that had been recently cut. worked into a couple of the older cuts and found a really good access route in and out. You know, this area has been a little more restricted lately because of some development and some of the logging barricades they put up. But I found a really good way to access it. It's all open for hunting, so that's not an issue, but it's a little bit harder for people to get in here than it used to be. So that's good. I did see some nice deer tracks in there. I saw where the deer had been nipping the blackberries in a lot of places. So it's a good place. I'll be passing through here during the muzzleloader season. You can count on it. Thanks for watching.